In honor of the upcoming Jurassic Park sets featuring Jeeps, I wanted to take a retrospective look at all the Jeeps LEGO has put out over the years. The word Jeep is almost synonymous with the popular Wrangler, which is what we will be focusing on. We'll divide this into 3 categories in 2 videos. On with Category A, Licensed Jeep Sets, which has but 2 lonely entries. First is Jeep CJ5. CJs are awesome. Much smaller than the future Wranglers, they were the first non-military Jeeps marketed to civilians after World War II, hence the name CJ, Civilian Jeep. Released twice within 2 years, this set has a bunch of long retired pieces, including one with a wheel-turning mechanism. And by today's standards, the whole axle pivoting for the wheel-turn function doesn't help its realism. We'll give it a pass since it was released in 1976, the year George Washington was born. I suppose we can rank this category, so I'll give it 2 out of 5, ducks. 45 years later, we get the second collab LEGO did with Jeep in the form of Jeep Wrangler in 2021. I was never personally a huge fan of this design until I got my hands on a built model for this video. Thank you, Jordan's brother John, giver of LEGO Jeeps. It's based off a modern Rubicon, which looks much less rugged and far more aerodynamic than its predecessors. I think there are lots of missed or incorrect details, but it's still a fun little set and easy to find for half the price LEGO is still currently selling it for. So with that in mind, 4 ducks. Out of 100. Moving on to Category B, sets that are called Jeeps but without the licensing in order of recognizability least to most, is Jeep Blister Pack. This is from an in-store build, and I know the point is to make something with limited pieces, but hey, according to Bricklink, it's an official set and it's called Jeep, so I had to include it. It looks more like one of those ginormous dump trucks that have to be brought to construction sites on flatbeds. Next up is Open Top Jeep. Interesting. My guess is the designers were told they were making a car based off military designs and ended up researching Saabs, the vehicle made by military aircraft designers. At least that's not a mistake that would be made twice. Number 2 is another Saab, ironically being rescued by aircraft. I can imagine this conversation between the execs and the designers. No, the Jeeps have bigger wheels, square bodies, taller windscreens. Okay, bigger wheels and something about windscreens, got it. At number 4, we have another set simply called Jeep. Depending on what angle you look at it, it might pass for a Wrangler, maybe. But without the name, I would have guessed it was a Hummer, the Jeep's ultimate rival. At this scale, 4 studs is just too wide for a Jeep. This ugly duckling has the proportions down in between the color and the army man it comes with. It's easy to imagine this as its namesake, but man, it is ugly. Number 6 is a strange one. I couldn't find it for sale on Bricklink or eBay, so I'm curious if it was canceled before release. It also could be that it was from the Snap theme and no one ever bought it in the first place. That being said, it does look like a Jeep. It looks like a Jeep from a fever dream LEGO nightmare, but a Jeep nonetheless. Last for this category is, well, another set simply called Jeep. Thank goodness for model numbers, am I right? This one is great, especially considering, man, that's some bad sun damage. This set's great, especially considering it's another one of the oldest sets in the video, coming out in 1968, the year Leif Erikson discovered America. It nails the proportions even more so than its successor 8 years later. It doesn't have a working steering wheel or a trailer or even headlights, but its beauty is in its simplicity. Bonus points for having a spare wheel. 2 if you count the steering wheel. In all seriousness, the word Jeep started back in World War II with General Purpose Vehicle, or GP for short. Soldiers started calling GPs Jeeps, and bada bing, bada boom, that's the short story. So any car or truck that could traverse over rough terrain could technically qualify as a Jeep, or GP. In modern times, especially in America, the word Jeep has become interchangeable with one specific motor company's off-road station wagon. That's right, Wranglers are categorized as station wagons. Bet you didn't know that. I didn't until I got a citation and saw it on the ticket, but I digress. The purpose of this list is to judge these models based off of their similarity to the Chrysler Motor Company's Jeep Wrangler. Harshly. But that's it for now. Tune in next week for part 2, sets that aren't technically Jeeps but look like them.